Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to 30 Days of Illumination. Today is day 15, and we are officially halfway through. So I'm super excited to offer today's transmission for you. We're going to be talking about how to truly raise your vibration. And yesterday I spoke about the fear of your own power. And that was actually a really fun video to make for you and to hear and read all of your feedback and all of your comments and all the participation that topic got. So obviously it was a hot one. And so I would suggest going back and watching that if you haven't done that already. And the topics of some of the other videos that I've put forward so far have been about like signs that you're a healer, ascension symptoms, so many, like the traits of a highly sensitive person. So if you haven't watched any of them yet, I do recommend going back, checking them out, and receiving, all the transmissions that I've been sharing that come directly from lived experience. Areas of my life where I struggled before and where I've been able to kind of like transcend it or alchemize. I don't even really like using that word transcend, but overcome through healing and through embodiment practices and choosing something new in my life. So thank you for being here. I would love to hear in the comments one word or one sentence on how you're feeling today, if you'd like to share. And so I want to dive into the topic, fear of your own power. Sorry, that's yesterday. Today, I don't know why I have it in my notes here. So how to truly raise your vibration. So I did a little bit of looking online and just to see what shows up when you search. What does high vibe mean? What does high vibration mean? And I found a few resources that talked about high vibe and the common conception of what it is. So there's a couple of quotes here. So high vibe, a naturally high state. The state of joy one achieves when a person's actions and beliefs are aligned and all the pieces of their life have integrity and love at its core. The state of bliss experienced when at full health as a result of being substance free. Okay, interesting. So this is one of the definitions that I found. Another one is when people say high vibe, they're usually referring to something positive. So high vibe is another way to describe when something is operating at a high energetic frequency. The higher frequencies are closer to unconditional love, and the lower frequencies are closer to fear. So, okay, this one's feeling a little bit more resonant about what I want to share with you today, but still not quite exactly what I feel is the way that you can truly raise your vibration and what it means to be high vibe. I'm curious if you've ever heard this expression. Before we even go any deeper, have you heard this expression, high vibe? And what does it mean to you? What does it bring up? Being high vibe, high vibration. So the general conception of what I found is that it relates to like being positive and to love and surrounding yourself with like good, positive things. And it's interesting because I've noticed a lot of spiritual bypassing that can happen. A lot of spiritual bypassing that can happen when we feel we need to be high vibe all the time. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I love this comment, means leading from the heart. Ooh, I like that so much. Yeah, that's beautiful. So what I've found for high vibration and what I feel is a high vibe is a combination of a few different things. The main thing that I have found is around living in consciousness. When you're being high vibe, is being aware and conscious, choosing consciously, speaking consciously to others, expressing your anger consciously. What I feel high vibe means is actually being real and authentic. Because when we believe that we need to be positive all the time in order to be high vibration, we end up bypassing a lot. And we end up pushing a lot under the rug because we want to be positive and we want to be spiritual and high vibe. When in fact, we're being fake and not real when we do that. And it's okay if you do this sometimes. I know I've done it before for sure. And thank you. Thank you, Wing and Heart. I love your name here on Instagram. It's okay if it happens that you bypass sometimes and that you may push down what feels true to you because you want to, be conscious and high vibe. But what I truly believe is high vibe is like being real. So expressing our emotions when they come up, speaking our truth, even if it's not that pretty, or if it goes against what somebody else wants in a relationship or, a dynamic, any kind of relationship with, a colleague or one of your clients or a partner or your parents. Like, it's being real and letting yourself be seen in that. I feel that's what's high vibe. Because the more we do that and the more authentic and real we are, the more the lighter our field is, because we're allowing our full expression to move through us. That's high vibe. Letting our expression move. It doesn't mean to just go around speaking your truth all the time to everybody, especially with people who cannot receive what you want to share, right? There have been circumstances where, I've had some difficult situations with certain people and I want to speak my truth, but I know that that person's not able to receive it. So I make a conscious choice to work with the energies outside of that connection. Because if I speak my truth, they won't be able to receive it. They won't be able to understand where I'm coming from. They might get defensive or, their wounds might come, their projections might come forward. So there are times, so it doesn't mean just going around spewing your truth out all the time. It means like acting from a place of consciousness and awareness. And speaking your truth when, the other person is also able to receive it, and doing it in a way that the person can receive it as well. This is just one example. But I've noticed it especially with like anger or frustration. And that's a hard one for me. And I know it's a hard one for so many of us who are very highly sensitive and empathic. And also women in particular, we've been really conditioned not to express our anger. We need to be the good girl. And I've found on my journey that anger is one of the tougher ones for me to express with and be able to do it in a healthy way. So I consciously pull back, let myself feel it and process it and be with it. And then let's say if, something came up with a friend where I felt like they crossed my boundaries or I was upset about something, I'll wait until I'm calmer and can then speak my truth from a calmer, more grounded and centered place. It's not always possible, and each of us needs to explore what's healthy for us and what's possible without projecting our energies onto others. So this is just the point of what I want to get at around how to truly raise your vibration. It's around being real and doing it from a healthy, centered, and grounded place. And so knowing that if you're not grounded and centered, sometimes like you might say things. I remember there was one experience last year where I got super, super, super triggered. I was feeling so angry. And I knew that if I said anything, that it would like blow up. And so I didn't say anything. I needed a whole week to be with it and to process all the energies that were there. Because it's like this feeling of like Kali. Do you know Goddess Kali? She comes and she burns down everything with her fire. I was like, if I say anything, it's going to destroy. And I don't want to do that right now. So I waited and processed and then came forward. So raising your vibration is allowing everything to move through you and being real and authentic. It's about truth and authenticity. I'm curious how this lands for you. And if you've heard, this high vibe word, and if you've seen it out there in your communities, people wanting to be high vibe all the time. Oh yeah, all is well, everything's good, and not really speaking what feels true to them. Or saying no when they actually really mean no. We can also cross our boundaries a lot by being in that place of positive vibes only. How many times have we seen in like mass society this slogan like positive vibes only? It can be very bypassy. So another part of truly raising your vibration is around taking responsibility for your own life, for your patterns and for your behaviors as well. So just knowing that who you are and how you act and everything is fully your responsibility, and not blaming others or being in the victim mode. And it's okay if you do this sometimes. These are deep, deep rooted patterns that often come from our ancestors as well. But it's noticing them and catching them and coming back to self. I think spending a lot of time with yourself is a really beautiful way to raise your vibration, especially at the beginning when you're really getting to know yourself and you're peeling away a lot of layers from your upbringing and from your life, peeling away all the layers that don't resonate with you anymore, that aren't actually your truth. Taking time to be with yourself a lot is going to help you to get really in tune with, okay, what's real to me? What feels good? And a big part of being high vibe, I think, is the actions that we take in our lives, the routines that we carry out each day, the food that we put in our body, for example. That's super important to me, the food that I put inside of myself. Being very mindful of eating organic as much as possible, things that aren't sprayed, and drinking healthy, clean water, sleeping well. This is a huge one, and I'm really noticing the impact this week in particular. I went to sleep late a few times on the weekend, last weekend, and then I got like black under my eyes, super dark and super tired. And I started going to sleep this week at like almost 9 p.m. and waking up on my own at like 5 or 6 and noticing that, wow, my mornings are so much nicer when I go to sleep early. And my day feels so much better. My energy is so much better. My vibration, the way I feel too, is so much better. I'm not having to work through all this fatigue. So taking care of your physical body with these healthy patterns, with eating well, sleeping well, also moving. In order to clear and move energy, we need to move our bodies. You ever notice when you're feeling really stuck and stagnant? It's like sometimes like the best medicine is to have a dance party in your kitchen. We did that yesterday here in my house. And just to move energy and to move emotions so that they don't stay stuck inside of us. It helps literally the energy and the emotions to keep moving when you move, and you can consciously do that. So that's an amazing way to, quote unquote, raise your vibe. And generally, like, there is a spectrum of the frequency of emotions. Like fear and hate are quite low. They move very slowly, the energies. It's been measured with, in science. I'm not very scientific, so I can't really tell you exactly what they did, but there's lots of studies out there around the frequency at which emotions are moving inside of us. And love and consciousness are way up there in terms of moving the fastest. So energy is moving super fast. So there is something about high vibe, but we can't be in that state naturally and authentically all the time without giving ourselves permission to feel and move those denser energies that are part of the human experience. Oh, I like that. High vibe is not about being the strong one. Rather, it's about being real and true. Yeah. And you can also be strong while you're being real and true and vulnerable. There's something really strong in being vulnerable and letting yourself be seen by others as well. But when you say strong, I imagine it's like this strong, like firm, like rock, that doesn't feel anything, for example. Totally. Authenticity, the unhindered, unburdened reality. Exactly. Think about that. There's such an image that I get when I read those words from you. It's like this freedom and, lightness. And so that adds a lot to your own high vibe and to living in a high vibration. But we cannot do that without letting ourselves feel everything as they come. And the more permission we give ourselves to feel, the higher vibe we're going to be more of the time, because you don't stay stuck in the lower vibrational energies. It's not making them bad. It's knowing, and I wrote this down because I love it so much, this quote. I read it one time on Pinterest, and I was like, wow. And it's, everything will be okay when you are okay with everything. I'm going to repeat that again because I know it's going to land and really be very important for some of you that are here listening. Everything will be okay when you are okay with everything. So it's being okay with whatever is going on. It doesn't mean becoming complacent and not taking action or making changes in your life, but it means being at peace. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it means being at peace with whatever is here and feeling like, okay, this is happening. This is here and this is present and I'm okay with it, which is gorgeous. Another thing I wanted to share around taking care of yourself and like, all the things that we put in our bodies, they do impact our vibration. And especially if you're more sensitive, I notice I need to take really good care of myself physically in order to feel optimal. And I see sometimes other people who like put all kinds of food in their body and that's not so great. And sometimes I'm a little envious and then I realize like, no, we don't actually know how another person's feeling on the inside. Maybe they are feeling like slow and lethargic and so I realize how important it is to take care of ourselves and to nourish ourselves. And personally, I don't drink alcohol. And the reason for that is because I feel like it lowers our vibration. A lot of alcohol is made like just for commercial use, to make money. And my body will not tolerate it at all anymore. And I used to, when I was younger, go out often on weekends and binge drink and get really hammered and do all this stuff. And then I started realizing like my body just was completely rejecting it. And especially since I've been on my spiritual path, I haven't had a single drink since 2019. And I'm not against it. If you want to drink, that's totally your choice. I'm just sharing, like, especially around the amount that you might take, it's important to kind of see like, oh, is this actually making me feel good in the long run? Like it might feel good for a little bit in the moment, but then how do you feel the next day? And then how much time does it take you to recover from that? Right? So I'm curious, what kind of practices do you do in your life that make you feel high vibe, that make you feel full and alive and free? For me, for example, one of my favorite things is to go outside in nature. That is my happy, happy, happy place. To be outside in nature, especially if I get to be naked in nature and swimming in water with friends or people I care about. That's so fun. I feel like, wow, like just seeing all the beauty around me, that makes me feel like the happiest, most grateful version of myself when I get to do that. So I'm curious if there's anything in your life that makes you feel that way. And you can let me know in the comments, whether you're here live or you're watching after. I would love to hear that from you because we can come up with like a little list, of practices that make us feel high vibe. Maybe it's yoga for you. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's singing. That's another thing for me is like whenever I want to raise my vibration and like my energy, basically to feel even better, to be in a higher state, I will play my drum and sing. Those are two big ones. And sometimes it's also going out and being in community with other people. Like I love my playtime, like my alone time at home and just being soft and gentle. And then there are times where it's like, no, I need to be outside in community with others, dancing, laughing, and playing. Those are also, what kind of joyous activities? What is joyous for you? I would love to hear that. So how to truly raise your vibration? It's about being real. It's about being authentic, about being okay with everything, because then you'll be okay. And you can keep coming back to center and practicing like, I'm okay no matter what. Nature. Yeah. So today, in just under 40 minutes, is going to be the final day of my Release Religious Wounding Masterclass. It's free right now, and it's going to be bundled up and be sold for a fee afterwards. Today's transmission is all about reconnecting to a higher power. So connecting to your own version of source. And it's free to register, so you can send me a DM if you'd like to join. I'll send you the link, or you can check out the link in my bio. And when you sign up, you'll also have access to the replays for 7 days. So I would love to have you there if you feel called to join. And if there's any friends you feel would benefit from this, you can also share the registration link with them. Yeah, I love that. Nature and celebration, singing and painting, watching the sun, running. Yeah, so good. Beautiful. Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I'll be back again on Monday for day 16 and the second half of 30 Days of Illumination. I would love to hear from you if there are any topics you'd like me to talk about, topics related to, being highly sensitive, being a healer, a light worker, how to move forward on your spiritual journey, all kinds of things like that. So I hope to see you then. And feel free to reach out if you would like to connect with me. Next week, I'm going to be sharing a very exciting announcement about my newest program that's coming up. And it's so good. I announced it yesterday to my masterclass participants, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be really impactful for the people who join, and a really gorgeous container to be in your fullest expression. So I thank you so much for being here with me live, and I will see you again next time. Have a beautiful day.